Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to day 11 of Vlogmas. As always, it's your boy, Dave Neal, and today we're going to slow it down a little bit and do a little story time. Now, as you guys might know, I went to Trader Joe's and did a Christmas food haul, and this is a double chocolate hot cocoa stirring spoon with mini marshmallows. So I got my hot water here. We're gonna put this right in here, and I've used these before. It will melt down, and all the chocolate goodiness will get stirred around with this wooden straw. This was 99 cents over there at Trader Joe's. So today, I wanted to do a little bit more of a long-form conversation. As you've seen my other previous vlogs for Vlogmas, it's very much just kind of snippets of daily life. I wanted to take you guys back to a time before the pandemic, 2019, and tell you about the story about how Tasha, myself, and our Basset Hound Boone drove across the country in what I like to call our great Christmas road trip. I was just, ooh, look at that. That's looking good. You guys see that? Wow. Ooh, baby. Coming right off that spoon. Coming right off. Oh, I just got some on me. That was amazing. So I want to give you guys a couple tips because chances are you guys might be traveling by car this Christmas season, avoiding airports and all the strangers packed into a plane and all that jazz. Well, we decided to go through the northern route, like I said. So I think it's a good idea to plan your trip out, but be okay if you have to divert yourself in any which way. So we wanted to spend about 5 to 7 hours a day driving and then do whatever sort of side projects we could along the way. Sightseeing, photography, this and that. So day one, we drove from Los Angeles to St. George, Utah, which is on the southern westmost part of Utah. It's actually only 6 hours away from Los Angeles, which is insane. I had no idea it was that close. Of course, 2 hours into our trip, I get a flat tire.
Winter road trip update. We haven't even made it to Vegas and we have a flat tire. Have we started out on the right foot, or
Fix those flats.
are we cursed?
You're a flat tire.
Maybe we shouldn't.
Wait, this is a great place to get a flat tire. Great place.
Oh my god.
Because in the next 50 miles, we'll be in the middle of the Mojave Desert. So we were about to go into the Mojave Desert. We only had a quarter tank of gas, so I decided to make a U-turn and go back to the closest gas station. And of course, I drove over a Neal. Luckily, being at only 2 hours into a very big road trip, we kept our cool. Everything, we made sure that everybody stayed calm. We found a tire guy. He hooked us up with a good deal, maybe 70 bucks, patched us up, and the tire's been fine ever since. Ken's towing, you're a lifesaver. Because of the delay, there was a little bit of a delay, obviously. It took us an hour or two to get the flat tire fixed and get back on the road. We stayed in good spirits. From there, we made it to St. George, Utah, just before sunset. The good thing about stopping off in St. George, Utah is it's home to the Red Cliff National Conservation Area, which is these beautiful scenic red cliffs. And this was my first day using my new drone. As you guys have seen in my vlogs, I have a DJI Mavic Mini. It's about a $400 drone. It's very small, but it can go 400 feet in the air, 15 feet away. It's amazing, as you've seen the shots that we've got. So on our way to St. George, we decided to test out the drone. We flew it on its maiden flight in a sand dune. Tasha took some photography. As you guys know, Tasha's a model, so she gets a lot of clothes sent to her, and she's got to send photos.
Little detour brought us to some sand dunes.
And post, different social media shout outs to different companies that will give her clothes to try on. So as a good Instagram boyfriend that I am, I decided that I would help her out with that. We got some really good drone photography. And because of the flat tire, we made it into St. George a little bit late at night, but we were able to get there right before sunset, see some amazing views. And our strategy for this road trip was to not book any hotels in advance. We weren't traveling on New Year's Eve at that point. We weren't traveling with any sort of heightened booking reasons to book ahead. And we just wanted to drive as far as we could and then find some affordable hotels there. Hotels.com, Hotels Tonight. There's plenty of websites you can use to get a good deal on a hotel. We were able to find a bunch of different La Quintas that were about $90 to $100 a night. And while the price does ring up over time, it is nice to get a nice hotel nice breakfast in the morning, good hot shower, and then get on the road. If you guys want to see any of these in-depth vlogs, I actually made a vlog of each of these days. You can go back on my channel and check them out. But this is just more of a, talking about the greater picture of things. Yeah, so day 2, we started out in St. George, and we're going to head to Moab. We're pretty much driving diagonally right across Utah, and it's about a 6-hour drive to get from St. George to Moab. We did it in about 10 hours. There was so much to see, so many places to stop off. We started in Zion National Park. The drive is amazing. It's just so picturesque. Every corner you're pulling over and there's sights to see. It gets overwhelming, to be completely honest. There's these steep red cliffs. It's 227 square miles of breathtaking gorgeousness. So you get up in the morning, you get a good coffee at the hotel, and you just get on the road. And it's nothing but amazing, just amazing. We checked out Bryce Canyon. They've got hoodoos, these freestanding columns. They're just so amazing to see. I mean, I'm from Rhode Island, a very flat coastal state, not much to see as far as, big cliffs and scenery. So all of Utah has just been amazing so far. We decided, and I recommend this if you ever have the time on a road trip, we decided to take a scenic highway. Now, we made sure that the weather was going to be okay. We're traveling in a Prius. We don't want to deal with any snow. So we took the scenic highway, which added a couple hours to the ride, but it took us through breathtaking Dixie National Forest. We were able to drive through a place called Panguitch Lake. We would have never seen this if we took the main highway, which I believe was Route 15. So by driving the kind of like more beaten path, we were able to stop off at little resort towns, get some lunch in these little neighborhoods. And in Panguitch Lake, it's actually only a summer resort, so the whole resort was shut down. There was almost no one there. We were just driving through, but we noticed a bunch of ice fishermen were out on the lake. So we were like, if the ice fishermen feel like the ice is okay, then maybe we should try it out. Of course, the second we get onto the lake, you can just hear things cracking. If anyone's been ice fishing before, anyone's from the north, I know we have some Canadians out there, you're probably aware that ice makes a lot of noise, even if it's not going to crack. Like, there weren't spider cracks below us, but you could just hear this, like, thing happening. So that we were like, you know what, let's just get out of here. So we didn't, by the way, not to mention my drone price scared away all the fish for those guys. Sorry about that. We arrived in Moab the evening of the second night. It was just so nice. That night we ate dinner at Blue Pig Barbecue. It was right next to the hotel. It's kind of challenging because we had to find restaurants that were either dog friendly or we'd get the food to go and bring the dog and get the food to go and then go back to the hotel. It was kind of tough because you don't want to drop the dog off in a new hotel. He's going to pee on the rug, this and that. So we had to stay at dog-friendly hotels, pay the extra dog fee, but it was really worth it for Boone because, Basset Hounds have this incredible sense of smell, and he's lived his whole life here in Southern California. So it was really nice for him to get out and just smell different smells. Moab is the home to the massive red rock formations that everyone has seen photos of. It's the Arches National Park, and by the way, way less traffic in the winter. It was really nice to travel just before Christmas because it was cold and brisk. It was probably in the 30s and 40s, but we were just going from car, you drive around the park in these beautiful, well-paved roads. You pull off where you want to see the different structures, and it's kind of just like a driving tour through this amazing national park. Canyons, arches, dinosaur tracks, really incredible. Monoliths, they got everything. So from day 3, we went from Moab to Denver, and this was a long ride. This was a long ride to get to Denver. We also went off the scenic highways to get there. When you live in Los Angeles, you can't even see the stars. You can't see true darkness. But over there on our drive to Denver, it was the brightest night sky I've ever seen in my life. It was truly amazing to just get out of the city. The city's full of people and noise pollution and light pollution and so much just on top of each other. And we were driving on our way to Denver through these vast open nothingness for hours, and it just really reconnected us to the world. I recommend it. We could have never done this if we flew. This would have, the complete opposite case would have happened. We would have been jammed in an airplane, people yelling at each other, rude kids. Instead, we're in the Prius. We had a great time. So we get to Denver, and that was beautiful too. We stayed at the Hyatt downtown in Denver, and from Denver all the way to Kentucky, there wasn't too much. Like from there, we enjoyed so much of our trip through Utah that by the time we got to Kansas City, while the food was good, it was a hip, nice, cool neighborhood we ate dinner at. Our strategy was find a hotel that wasn't in an area where the prices are going to be too high. So we drive through Kansas City heading east, and then I think we got a hotel like an hour after that. And we'd only booked the hotel like an hour beforehand because, you know, you can get online and see if the rates are staying the same, you know, there's not much going on, then you're fine. So, you know, we really had no problems booking a hotel. As long as you're traveling and don't have to stay in the exact same spot, it's like, all right, well, if Kansas City hotels are booked up, we'll just drive another hour east. It was totally easy. From Kansas City, we stopped off in Missouri to see some family I have in St. Louis, got lunch there, and then we drove down to Kentucky, stayed there for a week with Tasha's family. And then our way back, we decided to go the southern route. So it was a big circle that we did. And then our way back, we went from Kentucky through Tennessee, and this was on New Year's Eve. So we got lunch in Nashville, and then from Nashville to Memphis is only a couple hours, and then we made it to Memphis for New Year's Eve. All right, we're going to Beale Street. We're in Memphis, folks. Happy New Year's. It's 50 degrees. We're cold. Say hi to the horses. How are you? Like a bride? Not yet, thank you. Just a sheer, you know, stroke of luck. I found out that a college friend of mine was playing with his band at a bar on Beale Street in Memphis. And I was like, we have to go see this concert if he's going to be playing and we're going to be driving through. So we went to see my buddy. And let me tell you something. The whole 10,000 hour rules of perfection, you know, when you're working on a skill, it is so true. My buddy has worked for over a decade as a musician. And he and his band were so sharp and airtight. It was inspiring to see how hard they've worked and how hard they crushed it on New Year's Eve. Just watching time. It was so cool to be in the front of the, you know, the concert, hanging out with Tasha, just having a great time. Beale Street was on fire. It was electric. There were, you know, you could get a beer in the street. It was such a good time. And of course, we just, a great way to ring in the new year. 2020 is a weird year. It's a weird year. To go from that blast in Memphis, and then our New Year's resolution was to try to travel a lot this year. I swear to God, we were just like, you know what? 2020, let's travel. March hits, the flu, we're done. We're done. So it's been hard getting out and around. It's been a challenging year, but you know, we found new ways to travel. We found new ways to get out there and to survive, really. Because as humans, we're all just trying to survive, right? So while we didn't get to travel to far off places this year, we slowed the pace down a little bit. We really worked on our foundation so that when things can go back to normal, I think we'll be stronger for it. I've done the drive across the country several times from Los Angeles to New York, and it's very beautiful driving on Route 40, the main interstate highway that goes through the south. It's very nice, but there isn't too much to see. So we kind of just spent longer days getting from destination to destination. We went from Memphis. After Memphis on New Year's Eve, we went to Oklahoma City, 7-hour straight drive. Really nothing going on there. Not much to see. From Oklahoma City to Albuquerque, every time I drive across the country, I stop at this famous, tiny little hole in the wall called the Coyote Bluff Cafe. They have amazing burgers. They fill you up, gigantic sized plates. So we stopped there in Amarillo, got our lunch, and got out of there. From New Mexico, shot over to Scottsdale. Again, not much to see across. I mean, it was cold. Wintry weather, so, you know, really not much to see. And at this point, we were just ready to get back home. And then from Scottsdale, it was only a 6-hour drive back to Los Angeles. So what was my takeaway from the whole trip? I got to tell you, I mean, it's good to have your feet on the ground. You know, we fly from place to place. Seeing family sometimes becomes an obligation. You got to fit in this person. You got to fit in that person. For one season, we made it about us, and we decided that we would enjoy the journey along the way. And it was interesting that we did this great American cross-country road trip before the pandemic because it really set in a chain of events of appreciating where we are in life, appreciating what comes to us, and rolling with the punches. Right? So like we can't change a lot of the external things that are happening in this world. We're kind of just like the dogs that are hanging out in the little cage before the race starts. We're just ready to go. We're like, all right, when this world gets back together, when everything opens back up and everyone's safe, we want to be headstrong, physically, mentally, spiritually, and this trip was a good framework to get that started. So today I just wanted to take it back and slow down a little bit from the vlogs and just have a little story time and share some of my drone photography and some other photography that we did. I have to tell you this. I'll end on this. In life, you can either have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset says, I don't know how to do that because X, Y, and Z. A growth mindset says, I'll YouTube it and figure it out. I'll ask questions. If I need something, I'll find out how to do it or how to accomplish it. And one of my New Year's resolutions this past year was to learn how to edit using professional editing software. So I use Premiere Pro. It's in the Adobe family. It costs like $45 a month, which is a little pricey, but if you ever look at any of my old videos, the leap that I've taken from using iMovie to using Premiere Pro, it's like learning how to drive a car in an old beat-up Honda and then getting a Ferrari. I'm now able to take the visions I have in my head and make them work on an editing software. And I knew I wouldn't be good right away. I knew it would take me hours to figure out a simple editing move and this and that. But what I was aware of, there's a book I read called The Talent Code about how when you learn how to do something new, you hardwire a piece of your brain. It literally builds to something called myelin, which is an enzyme, and that calcifies around these neural pathways. So when you learn how to play a note on a guitar, the more you play that note and work that muscle memory, the better and easier it gets. Kind of like my buddy who was playing in his band on New Year's Eve. They got so good with their groupthink, with their chemistry, with their professionalism and their musicology, whatever you want to call it. They got so airtight with that, they were able to be there in the moment and enjoy it and give it away to others. Because they had already put in so much of their time along the journey and the path of life that now they were just sharing, this amazing skill that they had. And that's what part of investing in yourself is all about, having that equity to really work on what's going to, like for me, how can I work on making myself the best storyteller possible? Well, I have to have good camera equipment, good audio equipment. I have to get good at editing. I have to get good at storytelling. It's like a whole package. Like if I want to broadcast like what I want to give to the world, stories I want to tell, I just have to get better at that. And it's an ongoing process. And what I told myself over the last Christmas break was I'm going to learn this new technology, new to me, stuff that no one's ever taught me before. I went to business school. I don't know any of this stuff. I'm going to learn it all. I'm going to Google what I don't know, YouTube tutorial, ask friends, and I'm going to get better at sharing my story. So that's what all of 2020 has been about for me. How do I get better at sharing my story? There's been speed bumps. There's been roadblocks. There's been unemployment. There's been death. There's been chronic illness. There's been a lot of things we've all had to overcome. But those are all part of the story about how we grow. And I really think all of us, 2020 hit and it's like we hit a knot in the wood and the nail's going to go in either direction. So let's all just travel into a direction where we become better from it all rather than worse. So how can you, and I'm just posing this as sort of a challenge to you and the audience, how can you guys take this real shit year and how can you turn it into a growth mentality for becoming better at whatever skill it is you're offering to the world? I know I'm not there, but I'm working on it. I appreciate you guys so much. Vlogmas has been a challenge, a real challenge to end the year. I mean, every night I'm up till 2 a.m. waiting for things to upload, and it's been tough on Tasha because she's had to watch me uploading while we're watching some stupid Hallmark Christmas movie. So it's been a challenge. I've gotten more efficient at storytelling, more creative, and it's all because I've committed to doing this project, and I appreciate all of you guys who have commented, sent support, Venmo donations, all that jazz. You guys have been so good. So I appreciate you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.